Hello, my fellow viewers. It is I, Acerex Official, and you will see that I'm only on OBS. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add some text. The fade is crazy. Okay, so Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Diaper Overload by Chief Kinney. I'm gonna read the back of it. I'm really good at this for some reason. Okay, LMC and Pearly, what are you doing here, silly billies? Okay. Craig Heffley is finding out the roads of fame and glory comes with some hard knocks. When he decides to tag along with his teenage brother, Roderick's band-loaded diaper, Greg doesn't realize what he's getting into. Soon learns that late nights, unpaid gigs, fights between band members, and money troubles are all part of the rock and roll lifestyle. Can Greg help Loaded Diaper become the legends they think they are? Or will too much time with Roderick's band be a diaper overload? Oh, wait, I get it. I'm laughing so hard. Okay. December, Monday. I always thought I wanted to be rich and famous, but now I'm starting to wonder if fame and fortune are worth all the hassle. I'm sure it'd be great to be a celebrity, because it'd be nice to get in the rock star treatment and see your name in lights. But there's only so much one person could take, and I bet that kind of thing can get old after a while. If you're famous, you can't just turn it off whenever it's inconvenient. And it won't be much fun getting mobbed for autographs and selfies all the time. When you're a celebrity, you can't even take care of your personal business without everyone finding out and posting about it on social media. And when you're out in public, someone's bound to snap a picture on you when you're not looking your best. On top of that, everyone feels like they have the right. Oh my gosh, sorry. Everyone feels like they have the right to know all the details of your personal relationships, which cannot be fun either. Speaking of relationships, when you're a celebrity, you never know who you can trust. Because even when people closest to you will be happy, oh my gosh, even the people closest to you will be happy to air your dirty laundry if the price is right. No, I'm reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid, bro. What the Sigma? The celebrities who have it worse are former child stars. Because after they grow up and fall out of the spotlight, they have to learn how to live like regular people. And I'm sure it's no fun being someone who used to be famous. Celebs, where are they now? Greg Heffley. Then, now. Sanitation worker. That is crazy. Okay, sorry. Anyways. People recognize former child stars even after they become adults. And I like to be able to enjoy a meal with my family in public without being hassled later on.
Okay, you can shower. It's okay.
Say Zooey, mama. Say it. That wasn't even me. Yeah, we can do a whiteboard. Don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have mansions and expensive cars and all the other stuff that comes with being famous. I just wouldn't want to deal with the downside of fame. That's why it'd be awesome to be friends with someone who's famous. Then you get all the perks of being a celebrity without all the negatives. Famous people are always traveling the world and going on fancy vacations. And I definitely see myself getting used to that kind of lifestyle, especially if I wasn't the one paying. Plus, when you're with friends with someone who has more money than you can always count on them to pick up the tab. And if you and your famous friend ever have a falling out, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because people pay good money for juicy celebrity gossip. The only problem with my plan is that I don't have any friends that are on track to being famous. Even though I've tried to encourage my friend Riley starting making a name for himself, he just doesn't seem all that interested. So I've decided that what would be even better being friends with a celebrity is being related to one. Because you know your Christmas parenting can be way nicer if you have a rich person in the family. My older brother, Roderick, has big plans to become a famous musician. But I just don't know how realistic that is to be successful when your band's name is Loaded Diaper. Aside from their name, Loaded Diaper has a few obstacles standing in their way. The first one is they still practice in our basement, even though my parents probably wish they didn't. On top of that, Loaded Diaper hasn't played an actual show in more than a year. And the only member of the band who's not in high school is the lead singer, Bill. But he's 35 years old and lives in his grandma's basement. Even with all that, Roderick still thinks Loaded Diaper can make it to the big time, and he's come with the plan of how they do it. There's a competition called Battle of the Bands that's held every year. And Roderick thinks if Loaded Diaper works really hard to get ready, they can actually win it. Roderick's favorite band, it's Metallica, but it's Metal Chihuahua, won the Battle of the Bands when they were starting out. I'm not a big fan of that kind of music, and the only reason I've heard of Metal Chihuahua, what the heck, I can't pronounce anymore, Metal Chihuahua, is because Roderick's bedroom is plastered with their posters. That is crazy. Amoeba Tally-Hole for real. Okay. Roderick says the Battle of the Bands competition launched Metal Chihuahua's career, and afterward they were covered on every magazine. Metal Chihuahua broke up before Roderick even got a chance to see him play. Oh my gosh, that's Tally-Hole. It's Tally-Hole, guys. So everything he knows about them is from magazine articles and old concert footage. But when Bill was 10 years old, his grandma took to see Metal Chihuahua on their last tour, and he's always bragging about it to Roderick. In fact, sometimes Bill oh my gosh, I'm so bad at reading with the Sigma. In fact, sometimes Bill even wears the t-shirt he got from that concert, even though he probably shouldn't. I have no idea if it's realistic for Loaded Diaper to win this competition or not, but if Roderick's band actually goes on fame and fortune, I'm going to be the one to tell their story. Because if I just suffer through Loaded Diaper's band practices, I figure I might as well get something out of it. Wednesday. Roderick told his bandmates that one of the reasons Metal Chihuahua got people to take them seriously early on is because whenever they were out in public, they looked like they were already famous. He said the first step in making people think you're a rock star is to dress like one. So the other night when the guys went... Oh my gosh, I can't read with the Sigma. So the other night, the guys went out to the mall to buy some cool outfits. But they found that trendy clothes, oh my gosh, Jeff, no, are really expensive. And that ripped jeans cost us twice as much as brand new ones. So they left without buying anything. They came back to our house and ripped their own jeans. But when Mom found them powered, they're gonna make me cry, you know? Hold on, I need my glasses. I'll be back. Okay. They came back to our house and ripped their own jeans, but when Mom found them piled up in Roderick's room, she put patches in the holes, and I'm pretty sure she ironed them too. After that, the guys went to the Goodwill store, where you can get used clothes for pretty cheap, and Bill put together an outfit he thought made him look like the lead singer of a rock band. But it turned out that half the clothes Bill bought had been donated to the store by his grandma. So she made him turn right around and return them. Then Mackie had an idea. He said that they could just buy rock star costumes, because the Halloween outlet near us is having an after-season clearance sale. And everyone agreed that seemed like a smart plan. But the costumes didn't look like anything they did on the packaging. They were more like plastic aprons and cool outfits, and the guitars were miniature inflatables. If the guys ever go out in public wearing those plastic aprons, I really hope Bill wears some pants underneath, because those costumes only cover the front. Thursday. Project says that every serious band gets a professional photos taken so they can use them on posters and album covers. But it turns out professional photographers are expensive, so Roderick's been looking to other options. The option he settled on was asking Mom to take the photos because she offered to do it for free. So they spent that afternoon doing a photo shoot in their own backyard. But it was hard to get a shot where it wasn't a fence or a swing set in the background. After a while, they ditched their costumes and just tried using the stuff around them, but they ended up with a bunch of photos they're probably not going to use. Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find it. Mom said the guys looked too serious in all the photos, and the music was supposed to be fun. So she got them to lighten up a little. I don't think the guys are going to like those photos came out either. Eventually, it got too cold out, and the guys moved inside. Mom had other things to do, so I got put on photographer duty. Logic wanted a few photos that really tell people what loaded diaper is all about, which is how we ended up in the bathroom. But Drew and Mackie started screwing around, and Drew ended up with the toilet plunger stuck to his back. The guys are about to go to the emergency room, but then Roger remembered that one of our neighbors is a plumber. After that, the guys looked through all the photos, but they didn't look professional enough. Mackie remembered there was a photo studio at the mall that could probably do this kind of thing for pretty cheap. Everybody liked that idea, so they piled up to Roderick's van and headed in the mall. But what Mackie forgot was the photography place in the mall was a baby studio. I guess the studio wasn't choosy about whose pictures they take, and they had the guys in front of the camera in no time. It took a while for them to warm up to the photographer, but apparently this lady was really good at making her subjects feel comfortable. This session lasted an hour, and the photographer took a ton of pictures, but I don't see any of these photos making our way to Loaded Diapers posters either. I guess the guys still wanted their photos, though. It was cheaper to order a calendar than to buy individual photos. So that's the package they went with. Mom's already using it as our family calendar. So I guess that means we got 12 months of Loaded Diaper to look forward to. Roderick thinks the only way for Loaded Diaper to win the Battle of the Bands competition is to play a bunch of shows and keep improving. But right now, they don't have a good way of getting around. A few weeks back, Roderick's van got rear-ended by someone. Now he can't open the back doors. That means it's practically impossible to load all the band's equipment into the van. Roderick looked into getting the doors replaced, but he found it cost more to get new ones than the van's actually worth. But when the guy saw an ad for a contest that local dealership's having that said hands on the van, for the person who can keep at least one hand on the brand new van. This is a Mr. Beast challenge. He did a challenge on this before. Roderick and the other guys spent a lot of time debating which one of them should enter the contest to win that van. Mackie said if they all entered the competition, they get a 4 times the chance of winning it. The contest started on Friday night, and I think the guys were playing this thing for a few hours, but when it was over, they drove up with the new van, but that's not how it played out. When they got to the dealership, there was a huge crowd, and even though the contest hadn't officially started, people were already in that position. Once the competition got going, the rule was if you even took your hand off the van for a second, you'd be out. That meant there were no potty breaks. In 30 minutes into the competition, Drew was already wishing he hadn't downed that 64-ounce soda. Drew was the first person to drop out, but a long time went by before anyone else did. And 3 hours later, everyone was still going strong. A lot of contestants packed with coolers of food because they know they would be in for a long night. The Roger called the other guys weren't prepared. Mom was too busy to drive down to the dealership, so she sent me on my bike, and I went there and handed my guys the other food. I stuck around there for a little while, but it was pretty boring watching a bunch of people standing there and do nothing, so I went home. But in the morning, Roderick's van wasn't in the garage, which means he was still at the dealership. Mom sent me back down there with bagels and orange juice, and even though a lot of contestants had quit overnight, there was still a handful of people in it, but some of them looked like they were getting ready to crack. A few contestants started playing mind games to psych each other out. One lady began singing really loud and out of tune, and some old guy opened up a can that smelled like expired tuna. Another guy started reading the phone book from the beginning to annoy everyone else. But I guess that was too much for Mackie, because he lost his nerves before the guy got even through the B's. It was clear that sleep deprivation was taking its toll on everyone, and one lady got eliminated for trying to pet a dog that wasn't even there. A few hours later, there were only a few people left. Bill and Roger seemed like they might fall over any second, and they were going to go up against a lady who looked like they could go for another 2 days. But the lady was watching some game show on her TV, and when she got a question right, she lost her focus just enough to get eliminated. I thought that was the end of the contest, but it wasn't, because Bill and Roger got into an argument which one should really get the van. Roger said it'd be him because all the band equipment was at his house, but Bill said it should be him. He never had his own vehicle before. And those two guys were more stubborn than I realized, because neither of them budged for 2 whole hours. Around 10 o'clock that night, Roger came up with a compromise. He said that they could share the vehicle, and whenever the band didn't need the van for a show, Bill could use it. Bill said he was okay with that, so they shook their hands off the van at the same time and shook on it. But they probably should have checked to make sure that no one was on the other side of the vehicle before they let go, because I'm pretty sure the guy who ended up winning was a few minutes away from throwing on the towel himself. After hands on the band, Roger and his bandmates realized they weren't going to be playing shows anytime soon, so they've been brainstorming other ways to get their music out there. They decided what they needed to do is post a whole bunch of stuff on social media and build a following that way. So they created an account and started posting clips on them and playing music in the basement. Those first posts didn't get many views, so they started to change things up by filming in more interesting places. But those videos didn't take off either. Then the other day, Bill dropped a speaker on his foot, and Mackie was filming when it happened. They posted that video as a joke, and it was their most popular one yet. They started posting a lot more stuff like that, and their channel really took off. But after a few trips to the emergency room, the guys realized things had gotten out of control, and even though they had a ton of likes, they weren't getting their music out there, which was the whole point to begin with. So the guys went back to posting clips of them playing music, and they lost a ton of followers. And after a while, they even gave that up because it wasn't worth the hassle. Wednesday. Project decided that Loaded Diaper should forget about filming clips for social media and focus on making a real music video instead. So the guys been watching all Metal Chihuahua's early videos, and they decided their best one for the song was Dog Eat Dog, which they filmed at a kennel with the real Chihuahuas. The reason that video is so famous is because nobody fed the dogs before the shoot was started, and as soon as they opened the cages, the dog went after the lead guitarist who was snacking on a ham and cheese sandwich. Roderick and the guys spent a lot of time talking about what they should do with their own music to top Metal Chihuahua. They said that maybe they should shoot a video in the sewers, but they couldn't figure out how to get Roderick's drums down the manhole. Mackie suggested they film their song Monkey House in a real monkey house at the zoo, but they were a little worried the monkeys might act up. Bill said they could do a video where they parachuted out of the plane, and Roderick really liked that idea because it'd get people's attention. But Mackie has a fear of heights, so he vetoed that one. Drew said maybe they could do what Metal Chihuahua did for the Dog Eat Dog, but only with babies. And everyone seemed to like that idea. They couldn't remember anything doing it before. But it turns out you can't just borrow a bunch of babies for a few hours. Or at least you can't with the state where we live. The guys they were getting a little ahead of themselves anyways, because they needed to record a song before they can even think about making a music video that could go with it. Little Diapers recorded some of their music before, but they never really had professional equipment to do it. Later they taped a whole bunch of stuff on Manny's toy tape recorder, but I guess the playback quality isn't great on those things. And anyway, Mom released everything they recorded after she got a call from Manny's preschool. Project said it was time to do things right and record their music in a real studio. But just like everything else, those types of places cost a lot of money. So, Project said it was time. So Bill asked his grandma if he could be a few months late with the rent, which gave guys just enough money to pay for some time in the recording studio. And even though they needed one song to make a music video, they decided to record enough songs for a whole album. Project says that when Metal Chihuahua was big, bands used to put out albums with cool artwork on the record covers, because he's got a few of the best albums on the wall above his bed. Project says that nowadays, people don't appreciate album art because they just download music on... Spotify's a thing, bro. His plan is to release Little Diapers' first album as a vinyl record, so the art can be really big. Project and his bandmates went to a recording studio downtown today, and I decided to tag along. There was one room where the engineer had a whole bunch of computers and another room with lots of instruments and microphones. I guess the guys were pretty excited about all the different instruments because as soon as they saw them, they had to play every single one. Eventually, Project said it was time for them to get serious. I thought they'd start recording right away, but they haven't even decided to put which one album yet. And if you ask me, they probably should have figured out before they got to the studio. It turns out Little Diaper has over 50 songs, and they spent a lot of time whittling it down to the 10 they wanted to record. Only 10? That's crazy. And I have no idea what made them choose the songs over others, because from the titles, it felt like they were all for the same amount of stuff. Project thought that they should have at least one track with swear words in it, because that way you can have a parental warning sticker on your album. And he said if you don't have one of those, teenagers won't buy it. But Mackie said he didn't want to have any songs with swear words, because he wanted to make an album his mom could enjoy. So Project said if they were making music for Mackie's mom, they might as well just quit right now. It's kind of sad. Then things got pretty heated between the two of them, and it took a long time for them to cool down before they were separated. Once that situation was under control, the guys debated which song to record first. Bill thought it'd be Can You Smell Us Now because he likes the line that goes, "We're leaking through your speakers like a chocolate cow." Drew said it didn't make sense because there's no such thing as a chocolate cow. So Bill went after Drew, and then those two had to be separated. Roger decided the song should be Diaper Overload, because that was the first one he ever wrote, and I guess the guys were others tired of fighting, because they agreed. Take long for a new problem to crop up. While Drew and Bill were arguing about a song, Mikey accidentally dropped his pick into the middle of an acoustic guitar. So when the guys... It's kind of scary. Okay. Bill was still badly shaken up. He said he wanted some time to recover, but Roger said they really needed to get going if they wanted to record a whole album. So everyone picked up their instruments and got into their places, and the engineer hit record. Roger played the drum and showed the Diaper Overload, and then Mackie and Drew started with their guitars. But Billy only made it through two or three verses before he had to stop, because apparently that guitar frick did a number on his throat. Somebody got Bill a bottle of water, and a few minutes later it was good to go. And the second time around, they managed to get the whole way through the song without Bill choking. After that, Roderick and his bandmates were feeling pretty confident, and they were ready to rip through the rest of their songs. But the engineer said they had to come back and do another day because their time was up. So I guess if they want to finish their album, Bro has to ask Grandma for a few more months to cut down his rent. The guy was still pretty bummed. They wasted so much time at the studio the other day. They were glad they got one song down. That means they can make a music video, which was their goal to begin with. They didn't have money to produce their own video, but what they did have is a gift certificate Mackie's little sister ended up never using. Turns out that Shooting Star Studio doesn't do videos for original songs. They have a menu I have to choose from, and I don't think the guys were all that thrilled with the video section. Bill wanted to do the song about gossip. Roger wanted to do one about being late for school because it sounded the most rock and roll. But Mackie said he got to make the decision because it was his sister's gift certificate. And even though I doubt they ever showed the video they made to anyone, it looked like they had a lot of fun doing it. The guys were disappointed they didn't get to make a music video that they could use, and there's a lot they could do with it. They figured out they could get a radio station to play Diaper Overload. Then that could be even better than posting a music video online. They took their song to a whole bunch of local radio stations. Most of the places said it wasn't a good fit for their listeners. They probably should have done a better job researching some of the stations they visited, though, because it would have saved them a lot of time driving around. Roger said the problem wasn't their song. It was the people who choose to put it on the radio have a horrible taste in music. He decided if they wanted to get their video music heard, they'd just get creative. Roderick said there were a lot of places that play songs beside radio stations, so they made a list of everywhere they've ever heard music in public. The guys spent a few days working the phones, tracking down the people who make the decisions on these type of things. But they just hit a bunch of dead ends, so they drove around, tried to find the right people to talk to. That didn't get anywhere either. After that, they started talking to people they actually knew, but no one was willing to play their song. They had a breakthrough. Drew's older brother worked at the deli counter at the grocery store, and he had access to the sound system in the back office. So the guys actually got to hear their music in public for the first time. But the song only played for 30 seconds before the deli manager shut it off. And I guess he wasn't a fan of that kind of music because he fired Drew's brother before his shift was even over. The guys were practically frustrated that they didn't get anyone to play their song. But then Bill said that maybe they needed to try a different approach. He said that TV commercials usually have music in them, and maybe they can convince some type of company to use Loaded Diapers music for their ads. Bill said if they were lucky, they might even get their pictures on some packaging. But Roger said it was Tuesday. Last week, Loaded Diaper caught a lucky break. When Roderick went out to the junkyard to see if he had any doors to replace the one in the van, he found a replacement vehicle. Somebody had abandoned an old ice cream truck at the junkyard, and the guy who owned the place told Roderick he could have it for free if he could get off the lot. And even though the truck was rusted, it still ran. The guys were excited because there's plenty of room inside the truck for all their band equipment. That means they could start doing their shows again. The thing they're most excited for was the speaker on top of the vehicle. And when Roderick brought the truck home, the guys started freaking blasting around town, blasting their music. After they got tired of that, they started calling different clubs to find someone who could hire them to do a show. But it's been a long time that I've actually played anywhere, and none of the places they called even heard of them. So Roderick and the guys have been trying to think of ways to get themselves noticed. The other night, they drove around their music on the roof of their ice cream truck, but they didn't get past the elementary school, which installed speed bumps in the drop-off zone. Roger said if Loaded Diaper really wanted to make a speech, they could start thinking a lot bigger. said that when Metal Chihuahua was starting out, they played a concert from the rooftop of a building in the middle of a city, and it caused a huge scene. The police and fire department shut them down, but by the time they did, Metal Chihuahua was already all over the news. The band got fined for disturbing the peace and even spent the night in jail. Then they used their mugshots on the cover of their first album. Roderick's idea was to do a show from the top of the same building Metal Chihuahua played in 30 years ago. Mackie wasn't crazy about the idea, though, because he said getting arrested wouldn't look good on his college applications. Roderick said that the minute they saw the police coming, they'd take off. And I guess Mackie wanted to be a team player because he agreed to go along with it. Sunday. The rooftop concert didn't go the way they planned, but the guys started cheering up. That is crazy, bro. Crazy. Hold on.